Hi again, Gregg, the News Tribune here at Lumen Field in Seattle. Well, we saw something tonight we've never seen in the 10-year career of Russell Wilson. Him getting injured, not finishing a game, and his status for the next game very much in doubt. A busted finger, it looked really grotesque through the binoculars, and you probably saw it on TV replays. Pete Carroll said it was not, or he did not know whether it was dislocated. He said it was a Bradley sprained middle finger on his right throwing hand. Asked if he needed surgery, he didn't answer that. He said, I don't know, I don't have any idea about that. It is a possibility there could be a pin put in his finger to stabilize it, and it had to have been painful and debilitating to the point that Wilson did not want to get back in the game. He said that Carroll said that Wilson said he knew it would not help the team to come back in. He couldn't grip the football properly. He did come back in for one short series of 3 and out. He threw a 1-yard simple pass that wasn't challenging to his finger at all to Colby Parkinson, but he could not grab the ball to throw it down the field. He got sacked on 3rd down, was out of the game, and that was it. 4th quarter went to Geno Smith. You saw Smith go down the field 98 yards, a 10-play drive immediately to touchdown that got him within 16-14 to pass to DK Metcalf. But then the defense's problems in the second half continued. I think this game was lost in the first half by the offense. The Seahawks defense rose up for unlike games that they have in the past against the Rams, against Matthew Stafford in the offense. Stafford was throwing the ball all over the lot, errantly. They forced the Rams to punt 3 times in the first half. They had 2 stops in the red zone. One was a Quandre Diggs interception. One was holding the Rams to a field goal. Yet through all of that, including an interception, they got just 7 points out of that and led only 7-3 at the half. They even missed a field goal. Jason Myers missed his 2nd field goal in 3 games after going 37 in a row, a team record. And that was at the end of the first half, squandering a chance to have bookend scores at the end of the first half and then receiving the second half kickoff. They led only 7-3, and it felt then that if your defense was holding its end of the bargain for 30 minutes, that you needed more than 7 points for them. Sure enough, Sean McVay at halftime adjusted. He went right at Jamal Adams, and it is obvious now the book is out in the NFL about passing against Seattle. If they don't see Jamal Adams blitzing, they're going to throw at him, and they're going to test his coverage, whether it be with wide receivers, tight ends. We saw both. We saw Deshaun Jackson pull up in front of Adams on a deep post route and a 68-yard running catch that Quandre Diggs, the fellow safety, called unacceptable on 3rd and 10. And we saw him get beaten for a touchdown by tight end Tyler Higbee, Adams, on an out route into the end zone, well behind the receiver who made an easy pitch and catch from Stafford. $70 million safety should make those plays. And the Seahawks now know that that's becoming a liability when he doesn't blitz. It's a liability when he does blitz to leave the back end free. It's a liability when he doesn't blitz because teams are attacking his coverage. So how do you solve that? Well, going into the game, I wrote and thought that they needed to be in dime, 6 defensive backs, even on 1st down. Dare Sean McVay, the wizard, the passing wizard that draws up all these great plays, dare him to run. Put 6 defensive backs and 1 linebacker in the game, Bobby Wagner. Put Ryan Neal, your playmaker from last week in San Francisco, with 4 third-down stops, as many as your entire team had against Minnesota the week before. Put Neal on the field for more than I counted about 10 plays he played tonight. Only late in the second half did they start going dime in passing situations. After the game, Pete Carroll was asked why he didn't use Ryan Neal and dime more, and he said that wasn't part of the game plan. And he said they were saving him for 3rd and long situations, which is a normal traditional dime. Against the Rams, dare him to run. Cam Akers isn't there anymore. Todd Gurley's long gone and that past his prime. Cam Akers out for the year, season-ending injury. It was Darrell Henderson, Sony Michel. How'd those guys try to beat you? I'd take my chances with Sony Michel and Darrell Henderson in the run against dime and go take away the underneath intermediate routes that Ryan Neal was so good at against tight ends and wide receivers in San Francisco. If you go dime, then you can use Adams more closer to the line of scrimmage, perhaps as a linebacker type in the box, as a blitzer, more than just in coverage to be targeted and exploited as he was again tonight. Thought they got out-schemed again. Schemed our asses, as DJ Reed would have said. But that, I think, was where the misgiving. If teams are going to attack Jamal Adams in coverage, then you got to move him around and change the dynamic, and you need to do that by putting more defensive backs on the field. They sank or swam with Jordan Brooks at linebacker, playing a lot of nickel with Ugo Amadi and Marquise Blair, alternating at nickel and 5 linebackers, and the Rams killed it. Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee going right at Jordan Brooks in coverage, and Brooks was behind him most of the night. Offensively, it's obvious that when they are in third and short situations that this offense can open up and do what Shane Waldron is brought here to do. Yet on 4th and 1, they don't get it. Why? Because on 4th and 1, they actually had 3rd and 2 and 4th and 1. Consecutive plays, 2 tight ends. On 4th and 1, they had a tight end on either side, Will Disley and Colby Parkinson. And they asked the left guard, Damian Lewis, to block Aaron Donald off the ball one-on-one on 4th down and sent Alex Collins behind him off left guard. 9 days a week, that's going to be a loss for any team trying to block Aaron Donald one-on-one in a 4th down situation. Ball turned over on downs, another lost opportunity for the offense. Where they go from here? They're 2-3. Arizona's 4-0 pending a game against San Francisco on Sunday. The season's not over because they're playing a Pittsburgh team next week, 10 days from now, that is severely wounded and undermanned. Ben Roethlisberger's not even the shadow of himself. The Steelers are beatable even with Geno Smith. And I got this suspicion after this game, the vibe is that Russell Wilson may not be playing that game and miss his first career start because of injury. Win the Pittsburgh game, they're back to 3-3. They have 2 games left against Arizona, 1 against San Francisco, 1 against Los Angeles. So the division isn't even out of the picture. But man, they got to get cracking, and nothing's showing defensively, especially, that suggests that they can beat those teams to win the division. Lots to work on. Lots to examine. Russell Wilson is story 1A, page 1 above the fold here for the next 8-9 days. We'll get more as the days go on about his condition. More on thenewstribune.com, on Twitter, @GBellSeattle. As always, thanks for watching.